Welcome everybody to another amazing edition of Joshing Around Milwaukee, presented by Drink Responsibly. We are here today at Black Husky Brewing and couldn't be more excited. River West neighborhood here in Milwaukee. But before we do that, we got to do some introductions. I'm Josh Albrecht and with me is
Josh Albrecht.
And our special guest today,
Tim Eichinger?
Tim Eichinger.
I wasn't sure if I was supposed to say Josh Albrecht.
You could, know. Yes.
If you would have.
Yes.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 Joshes having some fun. 'Cause 2 Joshes are better than one.
So Tim is owner and brew master.
That is correct.
Of Black Husky. Been here in Milwaukee, this location since 2016?
Yep, about 7.5 years.
So it's 7.5 years. River West neighborhood, beautiful neighborhood, and a great area of town. You guys are right here on one of the corners in River West. And the first thing I always love about this brewery is your outdoor space.
Yeah.
Absolutely love the outdoor patio. Was that always the case? You always had the outdoor patio?
Well, that was one of the things when we were talking about coming down here from Pembine, is there was a few things that we felt we really needed. And one of them was an outside space. And at the time we bought that, that was a parking lot filled with a bunch of junk cars. Oh. So it took a vision to actually see that.
Definitely, yeah.
And over the years, it's kind of progressed. I think one of the things I'm most happiest about, most happiest or happiest? I think most happiest.
I think you're the most happiest.
Depends on how many drinks you've had, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are those 2 locust trees we planted out there.
Oh, nice.
This was a super fun site, so there's a lot of petroleum products in the soil, and those things have done amazing in the
cleaning it up.
Yeah. Yep.
Love it. Yeah, that's amazing. But bringing your recipes here to Milwaukee, like you said, you came from northern Wisconsin, and we were sharing stories before. I was getting a chance to get to know you a little bit earlier today, and I love the story. I asked you, what was the first thing you brewed, first home brew you had?
Well, the first one I made was a Hefeweiss, and I made this up north. Tony had bought me a kit, and because I always liked Hefeweiss, and one of the problems you have when you're making a Hefeweiss is they tend to be very, very carbonated. So at the time, everything was going into bottles. And there's a place up in a town up north called Spread Eagle that it's a gas station, liquor store, deli, homebrew supply, sauna heaters, everything. You can get it there. And I went in there to buy some bottles, and the bottles were like $5 a piece. I'm like, well, I can't afford it. I don't have the kind of money. But as I was walking out, they had an end cap display of Andre Champagne and Cold Duck. And it was like three bottles for $5. So I'm like, well, here we go. So I filled up my shopping cart with this stuff and went back and called my brothers and went over to my dad, and we drank a bunch of Andre, and I had my bottles in a really, really big.
That is the most genius way of getting bottles, to bottle your home brew.
I did not feel great the next day.
Well, it's a sacrifice you had to make.
Yeah, you had to do it.
Yeah.
It was economical. You're starting a home brewer. You have to.
We wouldn't be here today if you would have gone down a different path.
It's the least I can do.
Yeah.
I make lots of sacrifices like that for people.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, but you and now, have you brought that same recipe back ever? Do you still bring it back in?
No, I don't, because it really wasn't that good.
Sure.
The beer.
You've learned a few things.
The beer that really got me going was Two Hearted Ale. Two Hearted Ale from Bell's, and that's still one of my favorite beers.
It is a good one.
And that was really what got me obsessed with brewing and trying to do hoppy beers. And so
what is your Two Hearted Ale? Like, what's the one that you brew, the one that's here at Black Husky?
So
what's that?
It would be, the closest thing we have to that now is Spruce. And Spruce is our double IPA made with spruce. We actually put spruce boughs right in it. And that has been by far our biggest seller over the last, over 14 years since we started.
Yeah.
You know, and it's been a great, unique thing. Still my favorite beer. A lot of people have stories about the first time they had Spruce, and it's just a unique beer. I think we're the only, I'm quite sure we're the only brewery in the United States that does a spruce beer year-round. Usually it's a seasonal beer.
Very cool. Very cool. I want to just talk about the brewery. You know, being here in this space, it's a very welcoming space. I feel like a lot of times when you go on, you know, you go to a brewery tour, you know, even at smaller breweries, you feel like, you know, you're almost in the way. Like, hey, we're trying to work here. And you're like, oh, sorry, I'm just trying to watch. That's not the environment here at all. This is awesome.
We don't do a whole lot of working around here.
My kind of place.
If you're ever in here and you see some of the staff, you'll understand what I'm talking
Well,
about.
I'm happy to come and lend a hand anytime if you need empty beer cans or beer bottles.
Yes.
Josh loves not to work, so.
Well, and you know, I'm good at it. I mean, if you look around, you know, this was not something where we hired a designer to do this. Because we just don't have that kind of money. If I had that kind of money, I'd probably do it. But since we don't, you know, we cope. We figure out how to do things. So, like over on the wall over here, we've got a bunch. This is the art gallery, and we had families that come in with their kids, and we put their little drawings up on the wall. There's a few pictures around here from different things that, you know, experiences we've had. Over here is where we have all the dogs. The bar I made it up north and brought that back down here.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Log by log, just on your shoulder, just throw it on your shoulder.
Yeah. No, I did put it in the back of a U-Haul and came down here and put it together.
Well, actually, this is a perfect segue to your history of why it's Black Husky and sled dogs being in the family. I was imagining right away that you had some sort of sled dog train, log stack.
We need to set up a bar. Let's go.
For the
First
bar.
of all, dogs are not that easy to work with. Huskies, everybody says, oh, I love Huskies. And Huskies do have great personalities, but they don't actually take commands, they take suggestions. So getting them to do anything you're just kind of along for the ride. It's a lot like marriage. You know, you're just like, yeah, we're going to do this. And like, okay, you know, we've been married, Tony and I have been married 43 years.
Oh, congratulations.
And so it's 5 of the happiest years of my life. And we do, you know, have you know, gone through a lot of things over the years, and this has been a great thing for us. It's been a lot of work, but the community that you build when you do this kind of stuff is just amazing. And to hear that, you know, it's a welcoming place, that's important to us, because one of the people that persons?
Again,
okay.
depends on company beers.
All right. Breweries that I love to talk about is Lakefront. So Russ and Jim Klisch, brothers, grew up right around the corner here. They started just 3 blocks from here. And, you know, I'm always, you know, when we first started, you know, asking for advice, and Jim said, sell people an experience. And that's really what you're trying to give people. And I think that's important. You have to have great liquid. You have to do something that people want to drink. But you also have to have an experience that when people come in, they come out and they say, well, that was fun. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I love that. And you do that in a variety of ways. I know you've had some sort of mini festivals around here. You've got a lot of traditions that call back customers year after year. What's your favorite tradition that you've instilled here at the brewery?
You know, we've been doing the Oktoberfest here longer than anything else. We actually did a mayoral firkin tapping here.
Oh, nice, yeah.
When they had all the special election. Sure. And we had 7 of the candidates outside on January 19th tapping firkins. That was cool.
That is cool.
But my favorite thing is the strongman contest we do.
Yeah.
We've been doing that now for like 3 years, and that is just a very unique thing. There's so many things that we do, and they all are part of the community, and people really around here like to support that. But I think that when you're doing something that's so odd and unique, we just have people come out in droves for that. And a lot of the people that I know in the strongman community who have competed at World's Strongest Man say this is one of the best attended strongman contests they've ever seen, because the community is just so into it. And so for me, I mean, I enjoy the sport, but I also really enjoy the fact that we've got a community that comes out there and represents things so well, and makes me proud to be part of that community.
So I did get a beer earlier from you. This is your Czech Pills. I'm working out for the strongman right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, you should be entering that. You know, I can't wait to cheer you on.
Is this what they call progressive underload? So you start up something heavier and then you get lighter as you go?
I think so.
Is that a method?
It's like
usually overload. You're supposed to do progressive overload.
I'll take your word for it.
Carb loading.
It's just moving from here to here. So
yeah, exactly. Speaking of collaboration, teamwork, community, one of the things I love is that you guys have, the beautiful name, the Syndicate, the River West Brewers Syndicate. Is that
River
right?
West Brewing Syndicate started in, I think we were looking the other day, started in 2017. And George at company and Tony were looking at a map and they had nothing from River West on there. And they said, we should do something about that. Let's start our own little thing. Yeah. So at the time we had, Lakefront, which is the big guy. And then, I think it was Gathering Place had just started, and the four of us got together and started doing events, started doing promo stuff, started doing collaborations. When we do or meeting up and doing a tap takeover at a local business in River West to help support River West, to help grow River West, to bring more positive attention to River West. We have something that's called the Disloyalty Card, and it's got now, with Amorphic coming in a couple of years ago, we have 5 breweries, and you can pick up a card, go to each brewery, and get punched at each one, and then there's a coupon for a free beer. We also have a shuttle bus that operates every Saturday from 2 until 7. It's free, and you can go between all the breweries. That's
such a nice perk. The shuttle bus is a great perk. Obviously, with VISIT Milwaukee, that's a great thing for tourists. Be able to park at one spot, see many different breweries, but man, it's got to be a great thing for the residents of the neighborhoods. Just spend your Saturday traveling the brewery tour.
It's been a great success for us, and it's a lot of fun. I've taken it a couple times. It is a blast, and you get to see something different at each place. And I think that's one of the things that I like about our organization is you can go to Lakefront. It's a huge place with the big beer hall with all the 100 people in there, a couple hundred people, and then you can come to a smaller place like this where you might see 10 dogs. You go to company, they've got a different vibe, Amorphic, Gathering Place, and I think that's one of the things that's really cool about what we have here is we have a lot of diversity between each of the breweries. Oh yeah, different experience at each one.
Yeah, which is a fantastic way to spend a Saturday afternoon any time of the year. Yeah,
absolutely. Can we talk about the brewing process, your setup? How many beers you're making at a time? Are you going crazy? Do you try to keep it to just a few? What is the customer base that you have coming in here? What do they want? And how are you filling that need?
How many questions are you going to ask this guy?
Well, 5 in one. Just did it.
So one of the things I've never done is listen to feedback from other people about how I should do stuff. I think I've got a pretty good idea of what a good beer is. Over the years, I've had a lot of people come in by me and they're like, "Hey, can you taste my beer and tell me what you think of it?" They're home brewers. And I'm like, "Yes, but I'll be very honest, and if you're not a strong person, this might hurt a little bit." And then the first thing I always ask them is, "Well, what were your numbers? What was your recipe?" And if they don't know, I'm like, "Yeah, all right,
come back later."
Yeah, come back when you've actually done that kind of work. I think that people, by and large, know what good beer is, and I think if you don't,
this one's good.
Yeah, thank you. And if you don't, maybe you should probably be doing something else. If you can't figure out if your beer is good or not, then I think you probably have an honesty issue, kind of figuring out, or you just don't have enough confidence to say what you think. If I hit it or I didn't hit it,
I'm a big believer that you just leave it to the experts. Like, why would I even try to make my own beer when I can come here?
Right. It's a great point.
Yeah, but as far as how many different beers we do in a year, I don't know, 30, 40. I'm not one that does a lot of like hype beers, what we call them, where you're like, I'm going to go out and put some candy corn in a beer, and I won't do that. I think that's disingenuous. I think you're playing on people's kind of impulse to have something new and different. every time I have a guy who comes in here, he goes, I'm going to go try this beer. And I'm like, that doesn't really sound very good. And he comes back, and I said, how was it? He goes, it wasn't very good. And I'm like, well, okay. Of course it's not very good. I think we all knew the outcome of this.
Yeah.
I've got, a couple of years ago, I hired a brewer, Sam, and he has been doing a great job. So he and I work together and collaborate on things, and he gives me ideas, and I shoot them down, and we do what I want to do, because that's kind of my management style.
You're the brewmaster. It's your right. You can do this.
I want you to feel like you are part of the decision-making process, but you're really not.
If I've learned anything,
my wife tells me the same thing at home. That whole conversation, I was like, this feels way too familiar, what you're saying right now.
I want your opinion. All right, that's nice. We're going to do what I'm going to do anyways.
I don't actually care. I just wanted you to feel special.
Part of it.
Yeah. But you're not.
But you're not.
Yeah. I think we digressed a little bit there. You had 5 questions. I answered none of them, I believe.
No, I think you got. I think
how
you got
many?
through.
I think
4.5.
4.5. But yeah, so 30 plus beers a year. And what's the output though? I think is what Josh was looking for.
Yeah, how much are you pumping out?
Yeah.
Not a ton, and a lot of that's been because we have not bounced back from COVID yet. There are still, it seems like over the last, I would say, early 2020, January, February, fantastic. Since then, it's been a struggle. And there's a lot of reasons for that. It's not just COVID. Patterns change dramatically, interest rates, supply chain, all that kind of stuff. Yep. Unintended consequences. All of a sudden there was a lot of money for the infrastructure to rebuild the bridges, which is great. We're going to all this. Well, and no one can get over here now. Because the
construction and
the construction and stuff like that. And so those are just the circumstances, and that's part of what being in business is like. Yeah. There's always going to be something. What I always talk about with our staff is, where are your values at? What is valuable to you? I've done many talks in front of homebrew clubs and different organizations where people are saying, I want to get into brewing, I want to do this. And it's like, if you're going to do that, you really have to know where your values are at, because it's a tough business. It's a tough business, and you're not going to make a lot of money. So if your value is, I want to make a lot of money, you should probably do something else. If you want to have some really, really good circumstances and experiences with people, this is a great business to be involved in, because people feel like if you do it right, when people come in, they really feel like they're part of something, and there is a real value to that. We had, in April, we did a bluegrass gospel brunch, and we had the guys from, a couple guys from Millbillies, a couple guys from, I'm trying to think, Chicken Wire, came in, and we worked together on bringing up, some gospel music, because that's my background. I grew up singing gospel music. And we're just going to do a little potluck, and we put, stuff out there. And so we put out one table, and people brought in food, and oh man, we got to get another table. We got to put another table, and then put another table, and we had 7 tables of food back there. Yeah. We had a guy come in bringing a waffle iron, was making waffles. And stuff like that really impacts you, because you can see how people are just being so affected and so touched. And to me, I just got killed that day. We ended up working behind the bar, and stuff, because we were so busy. But what I really thought was a really outpouring grassroots thing of people coming in to want to be part of something, and also not just want to be part of it, but also contribute. Yeah. So
that's amazing.
The values that you have, if you think that is cool, then you should get into this. If you think just being able to make a lot of money and go get in your yacht and drive, I don't know, you don't drive. You drive a boat?
You drive a boat. Yeah, you drive a yacht.
How do you know?
Yeah,
I don't have a yacht.
So I don't think this is the business for you.
Yeah, I get that. The community atmosphere, you've talked about it several times, whether it's through the syndicate, the customers coming in, your staff. your dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious that family means so much to you, and building a family, whether that's through customers or your own family, I think it really shines here. It goes back to what Josh was saying earlier about the atmosphere in here, just the decorations, the warmth you feel, the type of furniture you have, just everything about it. It makes it a really neighborhood feeling joint, and I applaud you for that.
Thank you. That's what we really try to do. Tony's grandma Punches was one of the nicest people that ever lived, and she'd always say, "Oh, kids, I don't have much," and then she'd end up bringing all these pickles and
Nice.
Jello and all kinds of stuff. So I think that's that warmth that you get from just kind of that hospitality that just comes from grandma Punches.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
I love it. We should go make some beer.
We should go drink some beer.
That's a better idea.
Let's walk this
But
way.
I still have some here.
Yeah, see you later, Josh.
What?
Bye.
Hey,
No, this way.
Wait,
Wait.
we
I don't
drove
know.
here
This
together.
way. Doesn't matter.
Oh, geez.
Bye.